What's happening with you? It's your guy King David from TrapMaster.com, and here today I'm going to be showing you how to sample into your Maschine 2 software. I have a record player back behind me, but also I'm going to show you how to do it from YouTube if you're trying to sample something off of YouTube, or maybe even your iTunes. I don't know why would you want to do that. You can just drop the files in, but I'm going to show you anyway. So let's get to the computer, check it out. Alright, so here we are looking at my sampling setup, I'm just going to call it. That's my mixer straight ahead right there, and of course my record player, and then you'll see the jam in the studio. So how you do this sampling thing is, I'm going to take you, there's two different parts to this. I'm going to show you how to hook it up through your interface, but then I'm also going to show you how to implement it in the machine. So this is the setup right here. And these are the things, like, I don't have this is not a USB record player. It's just a regular typical setup, you know what I'm saying, where you would plug it into an amplifier, and then I have that cord right there you see hanging actually going to my mixer, my Behringer X32. So that's how I have it set up. So let's go to the computer, and I'm going to show you how to set it up in your Maschine 2 software. Okay, so here I am in Maschine right now, and I'm gonna play the record again. It's a local artist named Jimmy Mack, man, that has a record he had put out a couple years back or whatever. So I'm gonna play a little bit of it, let you see how it's coming through on the VU meter down here.
What you think you finna put in that bra? Give me that. Now I know what I saw. You gon' find out you replaceable, and that's gon' hurt. I need something I can button down like a shirt made with draws out the skirt.
Alright, so at this point now that you see there's audio coming through, what you want to do is take it off sync and put it into detect. And since it's already got good level on it, you just want to hit start. And that's processing the recording, whatever I've recorded right at that point when I hit start. And then I want to hit stop, and there it is right there. Now there's also the other step is to actually just excuse me, hit start, and so now it's waiting on a signal to come through, and you'll see the waiting sign right here. You want to hit your either play on YouTube or on your record player like this. And now it's detected and it's recording now. And stop it. You got the sample you wanted. And then you want to go to edit, and then from edit we'll actually just slice manually. See what I'm saying? And that's how you pretty much slice everything up. You bring it into the machine like that, and then you slice it up. Now here's the next trick to this is that you come right here, you hit apply, go back to the sample. You want to take that little cross sign you see right there and drop it right back in, and as you can see it drop the samples on its own pads. So you can come out of pad mode at this point, and the samples is across the pads. So come out of sample mode, and then you just go in and fix the polyphony, put everything, every pad, every sample into one. Now unless you want it to bleed over to the next sample as you triggering it. And so and then I'm gonna show you another step once you got samples in, how you can choke it. So then, like, every time, what I mean by that is when you hit this sample right here and I hit this, that you don't have two samples playing at the same time, because right now it only stops itself. And so what you want to do is choke it. So that'll be in the next tutorial. Um, the next step I'm going to show you now is how to set up your interface so you can be able to get audio through either through YouTube or through your record player as using it as an instrument. So your interface will recognize whatever samples is coming through or sound is coming through via YouTube or your record player or CD player, that it'll be recognized as an instrument, and you'll actually set it up as an instrument so it can get straight to your machine. So I'm gonna turn this off, and I'm gonna show you the interface I have for you guys, because most typically a lot of people have interfaces just like this. So let me go to that. All right, so this right here is the M-Box. It's the first generation M-Box Mini, actually. And on the back of here, you see you have your XLR, and you have two main outs, and then you have your instrument line inputs. And pretty much a lot of the interfaces, I don't know if you can see that. Let me put it back right here, because I know I kind of had to focus on that. A lot of the interfaces that is out on the market is kind of set up the same way. So like I said, your quarter-inch jacks, mono jacks will go in for your monitors, and then of course your microphone setup, and then these right here, these two inputs right here is for instruments. So majority interfaces, they have that kind of setup. Now that doesn't matter what type of interface you may have, like if you have the Scarlett or any of the rack mount interfaces, this same technique can be applied. So but like I said, at the same time, a lot of these interfaces, they have headphone jacks too. So what you're going to do is utilize it. So for the sound is going into the interface, once the interface is hooked up to your computer via USB, sound is coming out of the headphone jack. It's typical. So what you got to do is you take your quarter-inch jack and you're going to plug it in. Now this requires a two-headed quarter-inch jack. So one end is quarter-inch jack, another end is quarter-inch jack. Now it can be stereo or mono. It doesn't matter in this situation. Right here, what I'm trying to explain. This right here, this particular one is a mono. I've already did a tutorial about that. So the other end you would take, I'm just gonna say if it was this particular, this was the end of this cord right here, I would plug it into the instrument input of this interface. So that way, anything that's coming out of this headphone right here, I can turn the volume up on it if it's too loud or too high. You know if your volume is distorting if you're recording in. And you can use this technique for YouTube as well. So if you find samples and stuff like that on YouTube, you want to record it in, you can do the same thing, just by making sure the volume ain't too loud on the headphone piece. And so it's going to come through the computer into the interface, and from out the interface through the headphone jack, and then sampled right back in as an instrument on the back piece of this interface right here. And that's how you would do that. And now you have the sound recorded going straight in and then hitting your machine, and then from there you're able to trigger it. And now if you have a record player and you got it set up sort of like how I have it, where you have a preamp or something like that, that kind of makes the volume a little bit louder on your record player, then you would just take the headphone jack from the record player and plug it directly in to the back of your interface. You would just do it like that. So that's two different routing techniques. Now the USB record players, I'm not too savvy with those. I've never owned one. I've never known anyone who owned any one of those units, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhat similar to this. I'm pretty sure. I'm not too savvy with the whole system and the hardware itself, so I don't know about that. But if, like I said, if you own a record player, a regular standard record player with the amp on it or whatnot, mixing board to it, and or if you do not own a record player and you just want to grab samples off YouTube, that's the way how you can do it. Outside of software that you can find, to download off of YouTube. So those are two good techniques I use when it comes to sampling and being able to get audio in. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. This is your guy King David. TryMaster.com. I'm out. Peace.